Hello, 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 everyone. It's Kim from K&RP here in southeastern Manitoba. Today it's a beautiful sunshiny day. Currently minus 5 degrees Celsius. Feels like minus 9 with the wind chill, which means it's 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like 16. Cannot argue with that kind of temperature for January. Evidently, we're supposed to be having warm temperatures for another week. I think Ron said that the lowest we're supposed to hit is like minus 15, something like that. So either way, it's um, something exciting. Nice warm weather. Finished my blocks from last time. Realized that once I had gone upstairs and looked at my ones that I had done in the past, I did it as true grid journaling, where maybe the blue lines, were the flow that went between all the other colors. Hey, Lee, nice to see you. Welcome. All the other colors, though, were various shapes and stuff. I didn't use like exact shapes on all the sides, but the colors were the same so that it was very interesting when stacked. Um, Either way, I love the way these turned out. Kind of fun, kind of wild. Works for me. What else did I do? I did my ETCs for the month. Not sure if I want to put a focal point on them or not. Haven't decided. What else did I do? I found this when I was cleaning. Uh, Video was on, and I've always wanted to try these exploding books. Which way does it go? I think I showed you guys last Thursday. Anyway, it's an exploding book. So yeah, like this, and then it opens even more so. So I had to try that. Had fun watching the video and figuring that out. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you. I got a beautiful bracelet from Jan. It's called Never Forgotten. She's an Indigenous artist. And I have mugs with her work and stuff on it as well. I can't remember her name. All right. So, what I'd like to do today is, as I said, I was going to find something on Temu that really caught my eye and interested me and inspired me. And what it was dangly fish earrings. And we all know I love fish. But these were fish skeleton earrings, which even intrigued me more. But I couldn't, like, anytime I clicked on the image, it took me to Temu. It didn't take me to a picture of those things. It didn't even take me to the ad for where those were sold. It just took me to Temu. So I was not impressed. But basically, what it was a little drawing of a fish. I'll draw the fish, just a regular fish shape, you know, ovalish body with a triangle tail. I'm not even sure if the tail had a bit of a scallop at the bottom, but it intrigued me. I thought they were really cute. They were obviously made out of like aluminum or something because they looked to have jump rings on them. I couldn't even enlarge the picture to see exactly what they were. I don't know how long they were. All I know is that it just intrigued me that they had these sectioned fish skeletons. Some of them had jewels, like little glue on jewels or whatever on them. They were really, really cute. So, anyway, of course, I was looking at them. I thought, I would love to have a pair of earrings like that. So, I'm going to try it. I pulled out actually blank ATCs that are on cardstock because I have an idea. This one has sewing on it, and it's paper. So I'm going to, pull out a couple that I like, and I'm going to show you how I would do it. Some of these are just paper. I thought they were all cardstock. This one, I know it's ugly, but you know what? We're going to make it pretty. We're going to make those pretty. We know that. So just a couple of ATCs. Now, I'm pretty sure the earrings were maybe the 2.5-inch length. That's a nice size for a dangle earring. But I think I'm going to go this way. I love shoulder dusters. And this way I'm working that little bit bigger so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I am going to put my stool up on the table, throw something on top of it, and we will try this out. Did everybody have a good week? I have been working on that jigsaw puzzle. We started it, I don't even know when we started it. It's the bane of my existence right now because it's covering my kitchen island. We can't have, and we've got a board on top of our island because the puzzle is so big. Um, all the pieces are in the living room on the dining room table because we can't have them on, there's no room on the island to do it, but we have to work on the island because that's where the best light is. Yeah, just you know how it goes. Let's throw this on here because I know that do we have blank? There's blank, sort of blank. We'll still work on that. Okay, so as I say, I've got a couple of painty paper things. They are on cardstock. Yeah, that's a very light cardstock. This is probably, it was probably paper. It looks like book page underneath, but it's got a piece of card glued on the back, which is perfectly fine. What we're going to do first is we are going to fold them in half because if you were doing earrings, you would have to have two of them. What I'm doing though is I'm going to make dangles. I'm just going to make dangles for my journal out of them. So you can see that it's pretty darn thick. The tear kind of, or the fold kind of tore, which is okay. I don't care. We're going to be chopping it up anyway. And this one also has paint on the back. Oh, do I like the back more than the front? No, I'm going to use this side because it's ugly. So that's going to be my outside of the fish. All right. So the shape of the fish, I'm going to take a black fine marker. So the tail of the fish was just like this. Just, so that's what I'm going to do for now. And the head of the fish was like this. And as I say, it was a skeleton. But we're going to go like this anyway. So basically, that's the shape of the fish. Okay, so we're going to do it on both of these. I'm going to use a different marker because this will not write on that paint. Sorry, boarding house reach. So let's do this with the tail with like that. And the body and the head. And remember, this is going to be the backs, or it's going to be the insides on what mine are. Now, I'm going to cut this out, this shape out of this folded piece of paper. Keep it folded in half so then you've got a back and a front, right? Or opposites. What have you guys been up to, Lee? How's your layout coming? I'm still really amazed at the pond that you did. That pond was just incredible. And because it's going to be a skeleton, look, I can make shadow puppets. Try and keep them together because you do want them to match. Because I will show you why. Eventually, we'll get to that stage. We will get to that stage. Not sure that I really like how sharp those points are. If you were going to do earrings, definitely trim those points off. As I say, I'm sure that they used an aluminum can. I am sure they used an aluminum can. So then we've got 2 fish. And we'll do the same thing with this one. And you know what? I don't care if I go right on the lines or not. You know, guys, I work best when I wobble cut. All right. All right. All right. And since it's going to be a skeleton, we're going to be chopping it up. Okay, so now we've got this. Let's do some doodly fancy stuff. It doesn't have to be super elaborate, super fancy. We definitely need to put an eyeball on. Get the fish heads roughly in the same location, but backwards, right? Okay. They have to have an eyeball. We could probably cut a mouth into that. Eyeball doesn't show. I am going to grab that white paint pen. Where did you go? Here you are. Make sure it's going to work. They did say about these paint pens, if you're not going to be using them every day, put tape around the cap so that okay. We're not going to bother putting fins on. We could put some polka dots, maybe. You know, we don't really have to decorate that much. We're going to do the same thing with this fish head. Eyeballs on opposite sides. I'll put a black dot in the middle of those after. Hey, Belinda, nice to see you. I'll just recap what I'm doing. I saw these really awesome dangly fish skeleton earrings on Pinterest. I can't show you the picture because anytime I clicked on it, it took me directly to Temu and it didn't take me to the page that the picture was even on. So basically, they had fish shapes like this. So I took ATCs and I folded them lengthwise. I'm not going to make earrings. I'm just going to make dangles. Folded it in half lengthwise. So that's just under 3.5 inches. Drew a simple fish shape, and there we have it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Drew the fish shape on the back in black marker. I'm not going to see it anyways. If you are going to do this for earrings, what I would suggest you do this, but you'll also have to cut it out on a cardstock so that it's more sturdy. Okay, so you get to this stage. Now we're going to take these and we're going to fold them in half again. No, they're not googly eyes. I just painted them on. So what they did was they took this and they cut the fish head off there. And then they just cut strips like this. They cut the whole body into strips. The tail ended there. So when they were doing it out of the tin can or whatever, there were this many. Obviously a little bit wider. I'm going to leave it at this because by the time I'm done, it's going to be bigger anyway. So they had little holes in each, and they had like a small jump ring between, so the fish kind of shimmied. Very cute. So I'm going to turn these into dangles for a journal. instead of earrings. As I say, if you want to do it as earrings, then you could, they would not be waterproof. You would definitely have to waterproof something. Just making sure that the eyeballs are there. Of course, because it's a skeleton, not going to be any fins. Now we're going to lop it off into pieces. So I'm just, you don't even have to follow the lines. Just cut it into pieces. I guess I should have kind of kept them together. And I kind of want them a little bit more angled. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be like a jigsaw puzzle now. So there's the head. There's the next one. And we're going to see if I can get these back together like a darn jigsaw puzzle. And that's the outside, and that's the outside. Put them together. Whatever. This is the wrong side. Okay, so you can see how it goes. As I say, I am going to make these dangles in a journal. Now, I didn't pay attention to where I did the eyes. I probably should have done the eyes after. It's definitely behind that line, so I'm going to have to cut that fish head much bigger so that I get the eyeball. And they were curved like this. And I think they used like a metallic paint. But then again, they were out of metal. So and they looked like they were enameled. But Timu's going to have all that fancier stuff, right? So now we have these. Now we're going to take some thread. And I think I'm going to use a double thread because I can. Had scissors. There we are. Whoa! Tabletop is not as big as the folder, Kim. So there's for one. I want lots of extra thread. There's for the second one. Whoa! Yeah. Should have cut that down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take each piece. This is the outside, right? Eyeball. That's the outside. Inside. Inside is what we want. That's the outside. We are going to take glue. I have glue. And we're going to put some glue on this head. Yes, we are. No, we're not. There we go. A little bit of glue. We're going to put this string, and I'm going to have it so it's going out both ends. And we're going to make sure that the ends are together. We're going to put that right down the middle. And we're going to put this other one on top. Match them up as best we can. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So now this is going to be the next piece down. Make sure that you're putting the glue on the wrong side. Of course, you can always, I'm only going to put it about that far apart. Seriously, let go of me. And again, make sure the threads are together. Line it up. Put this one on top. Glue them down. Now, while the glue's still wet, you can kind of adjust it and move it. But you get the idea. This is the way it's going to be. It's going to be a dangle, and it's going to be a fun dangle because it's fish stuff, right? Of course, you can always come back in and trim, if you think it's too close together or whatever. Just if you do that, you have to be very careful that you aren't cutting through the threads. Do that all the way down. So I think this, I know that these are, an ugly color. But the thing is once they're together, we can always add more paint. We can add some bling. We could add metallic paint. We could add whatever we like. Somehow, I just think they're a lot of fun. They made me smile. They really made me smile. And again, this is a great way to use up your scraps. You can use them as big or as small. Make them as big or as small as you like. Of course, you can use much more colorful scraps. You could do bigger tails. You could do whatever. Limited by your imagination. Like I say, this was probably done out of metal. And instead of having thread running through the middle, I'm pretty darn sure that they used jump rings. As I say, I could not enlarge the picture. But even still, if you were to do these as earrings, you may want to make them smaller unless you like shoulder dusters like me. You definitely have to put on a sealant. And for that matter, it doesn't necessarily have to be a fish skeleton. We can now add fins. We could add gills and fins and some bling. Trying to keep them closer together. I think this is just a little bit far. See if I can make it just, nope, doesn't want to go any closer. That's okay. That's just fine. You do what you got to do. And I know some of them have probably flipped around. It's okay. Because if it's a dangle or you're going to hang it from something, you want it to be kind of fun and woggly. Yeah, I'm always on Pinterest for some sort of inspiration. Something that other people aren't always doing because I like to do my own thing. Could be upside down, that one. It's okay. It's okay. This one is off. You try and adjust them so that they're as close to being on top of each other as possible. Yeah, I'm going to come in and I'm going to doodle these after. Definitely. Definitely. But if you were putting this in a journal, oh, I just glued the wrong side. Where's my towel? Where's my paper towel? Wrong side. That's okay. We got the glue off. All right. All right. Turn it over. See? Now I'm not turning things over, Belinda. What the heck? What the heck is the matter with me? Crazy, I tell you. Plain papers I want to turn over, stuff that I need to be this way round, I'm turning. Okay, I think that's right. I have a little bit of the back sticking out, so I'll just trim it down carefully. I mean, we're at the end now of the fish, so if I cut off the thread, it's no big deal. But if I want to hang some beads or something from the bottom of it, I'm going to be very careful and not trim that thread off. Am I on camera? No. Go on camera. Just trim that outside edge off a bit. All right, so there we have it. We have a fish dangle. I don't know how well you can see it. You can't see it very good. Hey, Sherry, nice to see you. So you could, as I say, you could turn that into an earring, put a little jump ring at the top, and add the findings for jewelry, for sure. So yeah, now I'm going to decorate that, and I'm going to have, I will put it on a bulb pin, maybe a jump ring, maybe a couple of beads in there before I put it on the jump ring. I don't know if I'm going to hang it from the tail or if I'm going to hang it from the head, but I think that would be a really cute dangle in a journal. Okay, so we're going to do this one now. So again, you cut two basic fish shape out. Don't want to cut it into sections. You could do this with anything. You could do it with a tall, skinny cat. You could do it with a Santa. You could do it with anything. I'm thinking as long as it's tall and narrow, this will work really great and it'll be a lot of fun. Put the thread right down the middle. Put the other head on top. Line up the edges as best as possible. Press it down really good. Slide it so that it's as close as possible so you don't have to do much trimmage. Because even though I did cut them together, for some reason, it slipped on me. But that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So remember, if you're doing it this way, put the glue on the inside of the fish. So this is another great way to use up scraps. Turn them into dangles like this. And since they are going to be fish and not just the skeletons, I could put googly eyes on them. But then again, it would take up that little bit more room in a journal if you're putting it on the inside of a page. Where are you from? Uh-oh. That's that one. Okay, I got it. We're good. All's good. I guess it needs to get turned over though. No. I don't think it really matters. As long as they are in sequential order, leave a gap between. Doesn't have to be a huge gap, but there definitely has to be a gap between. And I can see that I'm going to have to either blacken the edges or I will have to trim this guy. This guy. I just think that these would be really cute if you had to do a masculine journal. I guess you could also do dragonflies. Dragonflies would probably be really gorgeous, like this, as a dangle in a journal. Yeah, blackening the edges would be easier. And because they're both, like, because it's on cardstock, it's going to be good and sturdy. So as I said, you could do this for earrings. I've bought paper earrings from a couple of people, and they just have a protective coating on them. These definitely would be shoulder dusters. Ugh, see? Did the wrong side again. I know. I don't know what's the matter with me today. Just a little bit off once again. It's because I'm excited. Because I'm excited. Because this is a new idea. I don't think I've seen other people do this. Oh, it's got to go this way. Whoop. No. Leave a space. Leave a space. And again, I'm using a double thread just because. You could use wool. You could use whatever you've got. I'm using thread because I wanted them to be as low a bulk as possible if I'm going to be putting it in journals. Yeah, lots of white on the outside there. Definitely blackening would be easiest. So even though this is painty paper, I'm going to add some spots. I'm going to add, some fun doodly kind of stuff. Maybe a flower on the tail. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. I think I like that tail better than this flat tail. Just remember, if you're doing earrings, trim off the points because you don't want to be poked. Like this one has pointy tail. I trimmed the corners off this one. And there's the second fish, dangle. So he's cute also. You can be really particular and put something between so that they're all at an even gap. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you. So again, you could do these as earrings. I'm going to use them in dangles, in journals. I've been thinking of other things I could do. I've got my anorexic Santas that I paint that could be really cute as a dangly Santa. Basically what you do is you take a piece of paper, fold it in half, cut them both out, and chop them into sections and run thread through. I followed, like I said, I saw these on Temu as earrings. I do believe they were made out of metal. This tail's a little farther than I'd like, but you know what? These are my prototypes. I haven't done this. We're learning it here today. Learning it here today. Okay, let's blacken the edges, see if that helps. You know what? I really have to trim that. Blackening itself is not going to help. Way too much white. So if you're coming to where the threads are, be very, very careful. You don't want to cut that thread. Maybe you do. I don't know. I am not going to cut it because I am thinking I need to have something to add. Look how fun that is. And you know, if you had two different pieces of paper and cut the fish out opposite, then when he spins, all his sides are going to be different. This was all on one card. This one also. I did trim this tail down. I still don't like it. We'll just do a little bit better there. Okay, now we'll blacken it. Now we will blacken it. But can't you see that like on a bulb pin hanging in a journal? Or on the front of a journal? Oh, you know, if it was a fishing journal, you could have a whole stringer of fish hanging. So again, I found some earrings on Temu that I fell in love with. They were like this, but they called them fish skeletons. And I'm pretty sure that they were out of metal. Oh, the insides are going to be interesting to do. As I said, I'm pretty sure that they were made out of metal. I think they had jump rings. I tried clicking on them. Took me to Temu, though. And it wasn't even what I was looking at. So I can't even show you a picture of what the really cute ones looked like. Note to self. Next time, maybe use black thread. Yeah, I can't show you a picture because when it took me to Temu, it took me to some kid's clothing thing. It didn't even take me to the picture of the fish earrings. So totally winging it here. Cat's mouth. Yeah. Oh, on a snippet strip too. Yeah. So because I saw the fish and I really liked the fish, and we all know I like doing fish, it really tweaked me that I wanted to do this. Not great. Not great, guys. So now, of course, like I say, theirs was considered skeletons. I think they were much thinner than this. Narrower, like this each section was narrower. Oh, see, this needs a little bit of glue in there yet. I will come back with some glue on a toothpick and stick that in there. You want them to be together really good and tight because you don't want the threads to come apart on you. And the reason I did it on cardstock is because I wanted it to be a little bit more firm. Like if I decided to do them for earrings, but even as dangles, they need to be that little bit more solid. I don't have a fish stencil. I just drew, a tail and an oval kind of thing on top. I can show you how I did that right away. I can do another one and show you again how it's done. Because you know, even though I've got two here, we all know I'm gonna want 100. Not that I'm gonna use 100, but you know, all right. They're fun. They're fun. Oh, this guy needs black in the center of his eye. Even if you did it and glued them down on a page like this, it's got much more action than just a flat fish, right? Okay, let's do one more because they didn't take as much time as I thought. No, no, all I did was I've got a whole bunch of ATCs and I figured that they were probably, the earrings I saw were probably 2.5 inches maybe. So I figured I would use this, but I thought it would be too small to show you what I was doing. So I did it lengthwise. That is just plain paper. I want cardstock because we could use that one. Ooh, we could use this one. It's got that green on the end, but I really like that one. It's kind of fish scaly as it is. Let's do this one, even though that was through lace. And I'll see if I can get rid of this. Not really. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm just going to cut it off like this because I don't want the green. So I just took a piece of cardstock, painty paper, cardstock, whatever. If you're just using paper, I would still say put the paper down on a piece of cardstock before you do this. This is obviously file folder, same kind of thing, something a little bit heavier. So we're going to fold it in half, right sides together. And we don't really care that it doesn't really match. The reason I'm pressing down the fold is it's easier to cut. Okay, so then all I did was I took a marker and I started with the tail. And that's the tail I started with the first time. And then did just an oval to the head, kind of a pointed oval. That's all I did. That's all I did. So then I cut it out, keep it folded because you need the front and back. And we don't want necessarily the fold. So I'm going to cut that inside the line. I would just wobble cut this, right? Just cut out a fish shape. I just think a stringer of these on the front of a fishing journal would be absolutely the cutest. Okay, so we've got the tail. Now again, it's got a bit of a sharp point. I'm just going to take that off just in case. Just in case. So now we've got the fish. Now we're going to chop it up into pieces. Take the tail off. And we're going to go in like little curl things. I'm trying to keep it together so that I don't have to played jigsaw puzzle with this. Didn't quite work, but that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We got it. All right, so we've got all the pieces. Got all the pieces. Now we're just going to take some thread. Did I put my thread away? There it is. We're going to take some thread and, just kind of double it, give it a little bit extra. And then we glue. And as I say, I'm going to decorate these up after with some doodles and what have you. And of course, you could go bigger, smaller. You guys do you, right? I'm just throwing the idea out there. Do with it what you will. I still think my anorexic cats would be really cute like that too. Okay, so I've got the thread for this. Let's rip those trimmings off the side. Got the thread. I've got very dry hands. It wants to stick to me. And we've got the glue. So I didn't put eyes on them. Of course, eyes, fins. Come on, glue. You weren't sitting that long. So we're going to put the head down. Make sure the thread is in the middle of the head, going along the middle of the head. I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe I should have used black thread. And this is the right side. Goes this way. I think. Yeah, goes like that. And again, slide it so that they match as well as possible while it's wet. I'm going to have to trim. I don't know why I have to trim. This is crazy. I don't understand why I have to trim. Oh, you could obviously use a stencil for sure. I mean, you could just do ovals, circles, anything like this and make dangles out of them this way. Okay, I want that much closer than that. Thank you. And it slid this way because I can see the black outline. It's okay. We're going to edge them in black anyway. And if it's too bad, I will trim them. Yes, I should have used a darker thread so that you guys could see better. Just a reminder, Jean will be streaming Saturday for her Saturday shenanigans. I don't know what she's going to be doing. Haven't started my temperature blanket for this year yet because Why? Because I have puzzle pieces from one end of my house to the other. Not so bad now. We've done the majority of it. Huge beast of a puzzle. Um, but yeah, it's still on the dining room table, on the island. It's crazy. We should be done today. Tomorrow at the latest. I will be so glad. Because I have other things to do. I haven't started making baby stuff for the shower at the end of the month. I haven't. I feel like I'm behind on everything. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Oh, trying to keep them closer together. Not sure how well it's working because every time I move, because it's stuck to my fingers, because it's got glue on it, it moves, of course. But that's fine. We're getting there. Just the last of the body and the tail. And again, this took way less time than I thought it would do. Okay, this is a little piece. Yeah, I don't know that even I would go much smaller than this, guys, because it's really fiddly. Especially when you're trying to get layers to match up. I can't see how I would do it on a fold. I could probably figure it out, but I think it'd be more bother than it's worth. Aha. This needs to come down just a little bit. There, that's better. See, that thread was higher up at the back here. It wasn't right in the middle, so it was a little bit off. A little bit off. It's okay. A little bit of a gap there. A little bit bigger of a gap. Anybody got anything exciting planned for the weekend? My nephew is coming out to work in the shop with Ron. They have a project that they were talking about when we had Christmas dinner. And my grandson and his partner are coming for dinner as well on Saturday. Okay, Belinda. All right. There we have it. Fish number 3. They really don't take that long, guys. I'm really happy with that. Really happy with that. Let's give this guy some eyeballs to start. You start with the white. As I say, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to doodle the bejeez out of these guys. Because I think it will be fun. So yeah, you just have to make sure that they are glued down securely around the edges. But as I said, if you have a stringer of fish on the front of a journal, you could have them various lengths, obviously. Let's just grab these guys. That could be really fun on the front of a journal. I think I would probably do 3 really odd colors so that they're not quite as matchy as the first 2 fish I did. And then, like I say, I might put a couple of beads towards the front of them, or I just might put holes in them and put them on a bulb pin. Almost like a stringer, right? Any of you guys going to try this? Or something similar? I'd love to see your take on it. You know what'd be really kind of cute too? That marker doesn't want to work there. Where's my black pink marker? What if we did paper dolls like this? They'd be really shimmery. Like, you're gonna try it, Lisa? Awesome. Again, you could use fabric. Fabric would be really cute. Of course, you would definitely have to put that on a cardstock or something. Or like I say, even if you put them down flat on a book, they've got movement to them. I have to do a card journal again. I was actually wondering how I could do a car like this as well. But fish I find are very fun. I really do like the fish. I really do. Would you be doing fish, Lisa? I don't know how birds would work. I'm thinking of birds. I don't think that they would work very well unless they were sitting like on a branch kind of thing. What else do you think we could do like this? This guy's upside down. You're floating, fishy. You're floating. Turn your head around. You doing fish? Yeah. Welcome back, Belinda. I'm trying to think of other things that I could do this way. Do you think like ovals or circles could be fun? A lot of times I just have like a single like maple leaves or circles, just a cluster of them hanging, but just one piece usually. I've never done like this. Way back when we did a lot of craft shows and stuff, we did wooden dinosaurs so that they were two-sided and they had fabric between, and they were cut into strips, and so they woggled. Um, I'm thinking dragonflies would be really cute as well, but I don't know. I'm thinking of other things. I'm looking around trying to get ideas. Like I say, I don't think a bird would be great. Thanks, Sherry. And again, use up your scraps, guys. This is a great scrap buster. Let's what else? What do you think? Throw some ideas. Seahorse. Seahorses would be good. Diamond shapes would be nice. Yeah. Again, I don't know if I want to do these as earrings. I would have to use a bigger piece of painty paper so that I could get 4 fish out of them, to match for earrings. And I mean, they're shoulder dusters. I put it on to my ear and it comes, yeah, almost to my collarbone. So I would have to do them smaller as earrings, but I think they would be fun. What about socks? Like Christmas stockings? Strip of wiggly eyes would be fun, yeah. I could do monsters like this, wiggly monsters. That could be really fun. Or robots. Trying to think of more ideas. Let's try a diamond shape. Because the reason being, I like them. Okay, let's grab the box of scraps. Box of scraps. And let's do purple diamond shapes. And you know what? I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to use paper. Just going to use paper. So we've got this. Let's fold it in half. There's a big white spot on the edge. We'll just trim that off. So we're going to fold it in half. Sorta. And we're going to do a diamond shape. So if I'm trying to figure the middle-ish. Something like that. Okay. Gonna cut it. You know, I probably could have folded it again, but that's okay. 1, 2. You know, I just may end up doing earrings like this. So we'll go here, this point, and there. Let's see what happens. Nothing to lose. Thread. Lost it. Ooh, that's not long enough. Need a longer piece. I'd rather have too much than too little. And again, I'm going to be doubling this. Okay, so which way was the point? I think these are backwards. I think it went like that. Like that. Yes. All right. Glue. Yep. I'm sure somebody out there has done paper earrings like this. If they haven't, I don't know why. Aside from the fact that they're piddly. And I think, too, if I did these, I would probably glue them down like onto a book page or something. So they're not super heavy, but it would still give it the additional bulk of another piece of paper in there. And then the extra glue would also make it that bit stiffer as well. Okay, this paper is much thinner. It's not great for maneuvering. All of my fingers. Hey, Teresa, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good week. I am making, I saw these dangly earrings on Temu, and they were fish. But it wouldn't let me, anytime I clicked on the image to find out how big they were, etc., it took me to a totally different page. Didn't take me to the cute fish earrings. So I figured I would try them out of paper. And I did them bigger than I thought they were from Temu, which was fine. That's what these guys are. And so we were just talking about what other shapes could work this way. And Belinda suggested diamonds. So I'm trying to get that to work. Hey, Stacy May, how are you? How are you? So as I was saying, I saw these dangly fish earrings on Pinterest, but it was a Temu ad. And so I tried clicking on them, and they took me not to the fish. They took me to somewhere totally else on Temu, and I wasn't happy about that because I would have loved to have shown you the picture. And they called them fish skeleton earrings, and they were very cute, very cute. So they were this kind of idea, but I'm sure they were done out of metal, and each section was done with a diamonds are cute, Belinda. This one here, I didn't get it right in the middle, and this one here also is off middle, so it's not hanging the way I would really like it. I think I would have to. You did tigers before, like this. You did tigers like this. I think they're very cute. So again, like I say, I figure that those threads in the middle have to be right in the middle for it to, because now this is a little on the wonky side, but that's okay, just like the fish. So the fish, I was saying you could glue down or you could dangle them. In earrings, so they would dangle. Nice. Were they paper? And did you chop them like this? So I just drew a fish and then cut it into sections. I fold the paper in half so that I've got both sides so that they're backwards to each other. And cut them into the shapes and then glued the wrong sides together. Oh, you put seed beads between each part. That would be cute too. I'm thinking though in a journal, I don't know if I would want to put beads for the extra bulk. Maybe, but I do like them the way they are. But I could see them with beads between for sure. Loads of weirdo stuff back then. Awesome. 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 Well, yeah, I saw these fish and I fell in love with them. And they called them fish skeletons. Their pieces were thinner, and like I say, they had jump rings between. I think some had beads between. Now that you mention it, um, but what I'm going to do is I am going to doodle these now and just have them as fish dangles for when I do mail journals. See, again, this one is higher than the center, so it and there's a bigger gap. But these were my prototypes, and it was a learning adventure. Yeah, no, they wouldn't add much bulk. They wouldn't. But I was thinking if you did them out of fabric, you could do some embroidery on them. You could sew on sequins. Not that you couldn't glue sequins to these or stitch them on, whatever. But yeah, this was, yeah, fish hooks would work. They would. They would. They would. They would. A teardrop shape would be lovely too. You're right. The trick is getting them down the middle. So I think what I would do, or what I'll have to do, is also draw a line down the middle. So that's where the thread goes, so that I know that that's where the thread needs to be. Because this one's way wonky. And it's the glue's dry now, so it's got to be the way it is. Yeah, yeah. A mushroom would be cute too. Definitely a mushroom would be cute. So anyway, this was my thought for the day, my project, and I would love to see if you guys, yep, the loop in the mouth could be, or the hook in the mouth, loop on the tail. I did this so that if I want to hang beads or something on it, I could do that, or I could just cut it off. Haven't decided yet. Or you know what? This could even just like be a banner in a book, right? If you glue these down under something so that, they're just kind of hanging on a page. Yeah, exactly. So that's about all I have for you guys today. Nothing really. I was excited about these. Definitely, definitely. I used to do wooden um, mobiles where, like, the head, and if it was like a rabbit, there would be the head with the ears, and then he would have a bow tie and then paws, and I would make them into a mobile, and they were very cute. Oh, it's okay that you're running late. I thought this was going to take me longer than it did, you know. So I would make a gill here. Let's do it a little bit closer in. Give him a mouth. And I guess there would be another fin over here-ish. See, they don't have fins. I might have to do some where they do have fins. These are just going to have to be the way they are for now. Oh, that eye all smudged. I'll have to fix that. They would. They would. I had wanted to do them as earrings. These hang almost to my collarbone, or they just touch my collarbone, which is fine. I love big dangly earrings. But I was thinking almost of putting some metallic paints on it, doing some doodles, and um, I've got that Mod Podge Dimensions. I was wondering if that would work. But yeah, I mean that could make a cute pendant. But that's just cardstock. This also is cardstock. These three. This is just plain paper. I just did plain paper because I wanted to see. Definitely needs to. Oh, this one is just plain paper. Definitely need to edge this one. And again, you got to make sure that you've got it on center, otherwise it's really wonky. But yeah, I do love the fish. And I mean, if it was hanging on a page, or even like this way on a page, you could kind of shape him so he looks like he's moving, right? Just some fun. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That would be perfect for a men's journal. Like that's one thing I always struggle with ideas for. A butterfly would be nice. I don't know. I don't know how, because if you've got your butterfly, I don't have a butterfly here. I should have a butterfly close. I just had them yesterday. Anyway, if you had the butterfly, it could work as long as you made sure the body was the center. I'm just wondering how big the end ones, or how big we could go before it started to twist. Oh, reel and rod. Yeah. That would be cool if I used fishing line. I've got some fishing line, but still, you could just draw the rod and reel. And you could have the thread come, up to the rod. And, oh, a caterpillar would be fun. One of my bookworms. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A bookworm would be perfect. Perfect, perfect. Trying to think. Because my bookworms go squiggle. The thread. Hmm. And because when you pick it up, sometimes the thread twists. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Could do it with dangly worms for sure. Because that'd be fun, just a squiggly worm on the end, and then the fish lower down. I don't know. Limited by our imaginations, guys. Yeah, the twist definitely makes it look like it's got movement. That's why I figured if I did three different fish on the front of a journal dangling, it would look like a stringer of fish. No limits. Nope. No, but I do like the single shapes too. I could see these being fun earrings. I think though I would probably cut it on the Cricut so that it might be a little bit better symmetrical wise. But still, this one doesn't really twist the way the fish does. I'm thinking what happened was when I was gluing it, the thread actually twisted. Maybe because either way, they're a lot of fun. Looks like a lure, yeah, doesn't it? Oh, wouldn't it be cute to do one like a fly fishing lure, right? Where you attach just a wee tiny feather and then the spoon. Oh, wouldn't that be cute, Lisa? A dangle worm to attach the bottom and top to a belly band. That would be so cute. So cute. Unfortunately, the masculine journal I have to do is for a car club. So I don't know that they fish. Yeah. Because I mean, we could use like even just a piece of something with foil on it as a silvery spoon, something really, really tiny, right? Almost like a hole punch, like so tiny. See, now I want to do fishing lures for my journals. And I don't normally do masculine journals, I just do odd journals. I might have to do a fishing one. I might just have to do a fishing one. All right. Well, guys, it's almost been an hour and a half, and I've shown you everything I've got today. I showed you my HCs that I did from my Sunday group. I showed you the blocks completed. And then after I looked at the ones upstairs, like I was saying, these ones I did all kind of the same, like they all have the same patterns. The ones I've got upstairs when I did them originally, maybe everyone would have had a blue line on it, and then all the other colors would be on here, but they would be different. Not all the same shape and stuff, but I really do like this as well. This turned out quite fun. I finished outlining them all. I have not been creating it all this week because I've been working on that puzzle. Awesome. Yeah, I used road maps. Yes. And then I found on um, some website, I looked up all the road signs and I cut them out and it did them like a snippet strip with all the road signs. And I used that for belly bands and borders and things. That one, it doesn't matter. Um, it's a car club that does fundraisers for families in need, and like they come to small towns and they do them to support a local family while they're having a car show. So they also have the silent auction, and the one that they did here last summer, I donated a journal to, and he would, be willing to have journals there anytime because they're so cool. Um, I just want to have it ready before summer. you know what, Lisa? The shipping to Canada would be way too expensive. I appreciate that though, but anything coming to Canada is really crazy expensive. But I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of old car magazines where they've got like old license plates and things. So I kind of did strips down the side, and then I had a black cross grain ribbon, and I painted yellow stripes down the middle of it so it looked like road. So I had like roadways going through the journal as well. So I mean, those are some of the things that I would copy from the last time or kind of revamp a bit because the last time I only had a couple of week notice. But I've been collecting stuff. Oh, I also have like an old Haynes manual. So I cut out a whole bunch of like just the diagrams of the broken down uh, blocks, motor blocks, and whatever kind of thing. And I used those as tags. I just put them on blank pieces of paper and use them as tags and pockets. Yeah, lots of ideas. It's just the time, you know. And I did it all on blue paper that I spattered with muck water so that it looked kind of grungy. So yeah, that's on my to-do list. I have a big to-do list, but it's getting there, slow but sure. I still haven't taken my painted tags into the machine in Winnipeg. I had drawn a blank for how I wanted to do the package topping, but I figured that out. So, some little things that I need to get done. But yeah. So anyway, this was my Pinterest find that intrigued me, and I hope that you guys play around with it and make it your own. And I'd love to see it. I would love, love, love to see it. So I'm going to sign off. I know this was a very short stream today. Hopefully next week, whatever I find is going to take us a little bit longer. So big hugs to you all watching and chatting in the chat room here, anybody in the balcony, and anybody who watches the replay. I appreciate each and every one of you, and please remember to give me a thumbs up and maybe a comment after. That would be awesome as well. And I will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Hugs all. Bye now. Warmth. Yeah, it's pretty warm here. It's like 22 Fahrenheit here, and that's warm for January. All right, guys, take care. Bye now.